Okay, so here we got a problem we haven't seen in a long time. So we've got a system of inequalities. All right. So we've got this set up. Jessica babysits for $10 an hour and tutors for $16 an hour. She has a busy schedule, so she can work at most 20 hours. All right. It's an inequality because she doesn't have to work exactly 20. She can work less than or equal to 20 hours, right? She can work up to 20 hours. She can work 19, 17, 16, 0. She just can't work more than 20. And she wants to earn at least $230 a week. All right, so she wants to earn $230 or more. All right, write a system of linear inequalities to model the problem situation. Make sure to define your variables. All right, the two quantities that are changing that would affect the number of hours she works and how much money she makes is the amount of hours she spends tutoring and the amount of hours she spends babysitting. Those are our two variables. That's what's changing. So I'm going to write x equals number of hours babysitting, and y is the number of hours spent tutoring. Now, the first thing we need to know is that she can't work more than 20. So I know that if I take the number of hours she babysat and added them to the number of hours she spent tutoring, that has to be less than or equal to 20, right? So I know that the number of hours she spent babysitting plus the number of hours she spent tutoring, right? We don't know these yet. If this was 5 and this was 5, she would have spent 10 hours. That has to be less than or equal to 20 hours. That's our first equation. All right, our second equation is that how much money she makes. So if she gets $10 per hour tutoring, all right, if she tutors 5 hours, she makes $50 plus $16 per hour tutoring. She wants her money to be greater than or equal to 230. All right, that's the first step, setting up your equations. Now we need to graph them on this grid. All right, the reason it's like this and not like this is you can't have negative amounts of hours babysitting. You can't have negative number of hours tutoring. All right, so we're only looking at this quadrant here. All right, that's what we're focused on. All right, let's graph. So now that we got those two equations, let's graph them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that first equation, that x plus y, and for graphing purposes, I'm going to think of it as equals 20. All right, just for the plotting the points. I'm going to make a little t-chart here. I'm going to pick 2 points and 2 points only. I'm going to say, what if we didn't spend any hours tutoring, or what if we didn't spend any hours babysitting? How many hours could we spend tutoring? Well, if I plug in 0 for x, what do we get for y here? Well, y equals 20. Ta-da! At most, we can do 20 hours of tutoring. Same thing can be said then. Do the same thing, but for y. What if we didn't do any tutoring? What if we didn't do any tutoring? How many hours could we spend then babysitting? All right, again, at most 20. All right, so those are 2 points that we're going to plot. What about our other equation? What about 10x plus 16y equals 230? All right, just for plotting these points, I'm going to make this an equal sign. So x and y, babysitting and tutoring. What if we didn't spend any time? What if we didn't spend any time babysitting? How much money could we make? All right, how much money? How many hours would we have to work to get $230? So let's plug it in. 10 times x. So no hours babysitting. We would need to work how many hours tutoring? So 10 times 0 is 0. 16y equals 230. And divide by 16. And you get what? Let's see here. We got, bring up the calculator. Should have already had this up. Where is my calculator? Let me pause and find my calculator. Okay, and we're back. So 230 divided by 16 means that in order to make that $230 only tutoring, we would need to work 14.4 hours. All right, 14 and a half hours about. And then do the same thing. What if we didn't work any tutoring hours? What if we didn't work any tutoring hours? How many hours of babysitting would we need to do to get that money? So let's plug in 0 for y, so 10x plus 16y. We're not spending any time tutoring. Equals 230. 16 times 0 is 0, so 10x equals 230. Right, $10 per hour. How many hours would we have to work tutoring or babysitting? How many babysitting hours do we need to get $230? Divide by 10, and you get 23 hours. All right, so let's plot these. Let's plot these here. So I'm going to take these right now. Whoop. Take them. Oh, give me all that. And we're going to move them up here. Ooh, they're not going to fit. Darn it. Not going to fit. Okay, oh well. We can see them still. So where do these points lie on this line? So 0 and 20. So 0, 20. This is 0, 0. Maybe this is 20 up here. This is the point 0, 20. Why not? All right, that's the point 0, 20. All right, and then what about the point 20, 0? Well, that's 0. Sure, let's make this. That looks about the same. Let's make that 20. That's the point 20, 0. All right, that is the line, going to be the line for the amount of hours that we can work. All right, so we connect a line here. All right, it is solid. It is a solid line. All right, and we're going to say that she can work less than that. She can work less. She can work less than that. So let's see here. So we're talking about any point underneath the line. So she can work equal to that. She can work equal to 20, so any point on that line works. And she can work less than that, so I'm going to shade this way. Any point down here is okay, as far as the hourly time is concerned. Alright, any time down there is fine. She can work less than 20, anything below that line. Any combination on the line produces exactly 20 hours of work. Anything in here is less than 20. On the line is exactly 20. Underneath is less than 20. Alright, so where's the point 0, 14.4? That's 20, halfway would be 10, so halfway in between that would be 15, so right there is about 14.4. So that's the point 0, 14.4. And 23, 0. So if that's 23, if that's 20, maybe this is 23. Let's connect this line. All right, and she wants to make more. She wants to make more than this amount of money, or equal to. So she wants to make more money. She wants to make mo money, mo problems. All right, so she wants to make more money. Now, it's hard to see on this. I should do it in blue. Yeah, let's do it in blue. See what happens when I do it in blue. Ooh, take a look at that. Cool science. All right. So, everything above that line produces more money than $230. everything on this line. All right, everything on this line here produces exactly $230. So the only possible combinations that are less than 20 hours of work or equal to and that produce more money is this region right here. All right, this is what you're looking for. So any point inside there. So it says identify a point that's inside of the solution region. So I'm going to pick the point, I don't know, let's just say 2 hours and 15. Maybe 2 hours of so X is babysitting and Y is tutoring. So 2 hours of babysitting. So the point 2 comma 15. It's less than 20 hours, and 2 times 10 is 20, and 15 times $16 an hour is $240. So 20 plus 240 is more than 230. She could babysit for 2 hours and tutor. Hours. All right. Thank you.